Hello, Vineyard. Happy Wednesday. I enjoyed that little reprieve we had from the heat yesterday, but man, I got to tell you, I'm longing for those beautiful below zero days full of wind chill and ice. Oh, dang, that sounds so good right now. You never hear me complain about the cold. I love it so much. I cannot wait for it to come back. Well, another week of summer at the Vineyard is in the books, and we find ourselves in the midst of our school supply drive and getting ready for the back to school bash on August 14th. Keep praying about who in your realm might be blessed by having some help with school supplies. And fill out a nomination form if you can think of anyone so we can get the ball rolling on hooking that up. Also, mark August 14th on your calendar. This is our next church party after worship. We'll worship together and then head out to the backyard for some food and some fun. Last few Sundays, we have been having a really fun walk through how the historical narrative of the Old Testament points to the plan of God to redeem creation through the sacrifice of his son, Jesus Christ. We've seen this thread run through the story of Cain and Abel, the Tower of Babel, Noah and the flood, and we're going to see it again this Sunday as we find the rest of the story when Abraham is called to sacrifice Isaac, the son that he loves so much. One of the subtopics that we will confront on Sunday is the difference between compliance and obedience, and the role that love plays in that difference. For me, that highlights the crazy upside down view of strength that we see in God through the activity of both the Father and the Son. Because in the midst of these awesome displays of power, we see an example of self-limiting and self-sacrifice that really runs counter to our culture. If you take a look at some of the things that are dividing our nation now, dividing our communities now, you likely see how these issues are being met with a power encounter on both sides. Force is applied, and then that force is met with more force, and the escalation drives to something that we can all predict, a really sad and tragic confrontation that's not going to find out who is right, but we'll find out whose supposed rightness is loudest and most oppressive. It's interesting to me that the only times in the Gospels that we see Jesus angry, and the only time that he lashes out, he does so against the religious people that are stifling access to God and profiting off of worshipers. He doesn't get angry and lash out in the presentation of the gospel. He gets angry and lashes out against the religious that are blocking access to God. John 4 is an example, the story of the woman at the well. This is an example of how Jesus met the secular culture war by making room for the broken to be broken and hear the gospel message of redemption. Rather than overwhelming with force, Jesus presents the message of victory through relationship born out of hospitality. Henry Nouwen says that hospitality is making room for another to be themselves, to see themselves, and then be healed by the gospel of Jesus. Jesus doesn't seem to act like he's threatened. The strength of the gospel, I think, is found in a church acting like they know that the victory is already won. The church is not threatened by noise, and indeed meets that noise with love. In this, we see how the example of sacrificial love can serve as a guide for how we engage others in the time between the Sundays. Nothing we face surprises God, and nothing we face can turn the certain victory of God. Nothing can affect this plan that we are looking at in the rest of the story. This is a story that is unstoppable. This can bring us to the place of boldness to self-limit and make room for others to hear the gospel of Jesus, turn from their separation with God, and find redemption. This is hard work, but we have an awesome reality that Jesus shows us how to do it. So Vineyard, pray for me, know that I'm praying for you, and I will see you on Sunday.